So fragmentation and compression, we still deal with this today, fragmentation. I see people trying to deal with it. A hard disk can become fragmented over time. So the way we write data on a disk is sporadic. So if you write a file to the disk, it could be a little here, a little here, a little here, a little here, and a little bit here. Instead of all together in a nice ring on a sector, right? All contiguous, so I can just read right along and make it fast. If I have to go pick up a little bit of file here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, that's a pain in the butt, right? I got to jump all over the place. It could be on a different platter, on the other side of the platter. It could be a mess trying to recover the data. And it makes for a little bit of a lag trying to load the file, right, if it's a big file. So that's what fragmentation is about. So what defragging is you pull everything off the drive and you put it all in order. All of this file is right next to each other. All of this file is right next to each other, at least as much as I can get it. I might have one section that doesn't belong to it here and there. But for the most part, it writes it all together, nice and neat. And that's what defragging was about. So that's what fragmentation is about. So as you start to write and erase things, it kind of starts running out of room and it would write things all over the place. Today, they're so big, it's not really an issue today. So MS-DOS, Microsoft Windows 95, Windows 98, and Microsoft Windows ME have defrag programs. They came with them. So disk compression eliminates wasted cluster space. So we don't really use disk compression today. Maintaining a hard drive. What you should be using today, though, from a security perspective, is encrypted disks. Make sure you encrypt everything that you build today. Every single thing needs to be encrypted today, including flash drives. So how do you maintain a hard drive? You perform comprehensive, regularly scheduled backups. Absolutely, still do that today. Save a copy of the boot sector and partition table information. No way, we don't do that today, but just remember that for the test. And then have tools on hand for hard disk repairs. So there's a lot of utilities that could go in and read the raw sectors, like these forensics tools that we use today to go and pull the kiddie porn off of your computer that you deleted that you didn't realize wasn't really deleted. You know, that's still true of today. It's not really deleted. So there's a program that was bought called DBAN, Derek's Boot and Nuke, if you actually really wanted to erase a physical hard drive, not a solid state drive. You can't really erase a solid state drive. So if you have a solid state drive on a system you've built and you haven't encrypted it, there's no way to sell the computer because you have to destroy that drive. And it's probably going to be better for them to just buy a new computer instead of buying your used one without a hard drive. So you have to smash the solid state drives if you're not using encrypted drives. So make sure you're using full disk encryption. And so have tools on hand for hard disk repairs. We talked about that. And then use only disk tools certified for the hard drives and OS. So each manufacturer used to make their own tools. There were specialty companies that made tools. There were disk recovery people, all kinds of stuff that for back in the day. And man, they used to make some money. I've sent out disks for customers. It's incredibly expensive. Common errors and troubleshooting utilities. Some common errors: abort, retry, or fail. Usually when you see this today, the disk is bad. You'll still see these messages, and usually when you get it, the disk is trashed. You have connectivity problems. Could be cabling, something loose, a bad cable, something heating up, something like that. Lost boot and partition information, virus overrode it, or some program went rogue and overrode it if you have something malfunctioning. You can have BIOS errors, so the BIOS is messing up the addressing and stuff, so things don't work well together. So you reflash the BIOS and then it becomes stable again. And then you have utilities like ScanDisk and SCSI BIOS disk utility for SCSI, the old SCSI disks. And chapter summary. So the floppy drive technology has changed a little over the years. Yes, we use USB for everything today, including USB floppy drives. You can still order them on Amazon. Floppy disk drives fail more often than any other computer component. So one thing, I won't say it, but if you're ever late for your homework, you can turn it in on a floppy. Tell your teacher, well, I don't have a USB stick. So floppy disk drives fail more often than any other computer component. This is true because we used to just throw them across the room. They get dirty. You open the thing, you're touching it, you're putting fingerprints on it. They did used to fail quite a bit, but they're usually abused a lot as well. So you're installing a hard disk drive requires you to partition the drive, set the CMOS settings, and format the drive. That will be a test question. So you'll see some multiple choice questions here. So don't let this throw you. The FDisk utility, fixed disk utility, is used to create partitions. This is true. This is a test question. The geometry, okay, the geometry of the disk, CHS values of a hard disk determines its storage capacity. The bigger these sectors, the more of the disk that I'm using, right? If I have sectors that are this small, I can put a whole bunch of them. But if they're this big, I can only put a couple of them, right? So the smaller the sector, the more the capacity. You need to know that. The smaller the sector, the more I can put. So the smaller the sector, the larger the capacity. Partition types include primary, extended, logical, and active. True. And then the active partition is used to initialize the OS. All of these are good test questions, so I would know all of these.